So today I'm seeing a lot of conversations about and news coverage and stories and events surrounding the murder of George Floyd. It's been a year. And while I am pleased to see the amount of fervor that's being dedicated towards him, I have a problem with the fact that so many networks and individuals are calling this an anniversary. This is not an anniversary. This is not a happy day. This is a commemoration. Anniversaries are for happy moments. There's a reason why we celebrate Dr. King around his birthday in January, as opposed to the time that he was assassinated in April. We need to stop looking at these events and call them anniversaries. You don't have an anniversary on the day a man was savagely slaughtered. And I know that there are many people out there who will say like, oh, it's just semantics. It doesn't really matter. It's not a big deal. But it really is a big deal. Because not only do we have to deal with when we're looking at the other example of Ronald Green and other people with this weekly loop of Black death that is playing itself out on the news from cases 2 years ago, 3 years ago, yesterday. Saw another video, Black woman being hogtied for lack of a better word. That's what it is. We can't associate these things with anniversaries. When we do that, we desensitize what happened. We desensitize what people like George Floyd went through. And we're looking at it as if it's some type of march on Washington or something like that. You know, those were active movements celebrating and calling for justice and the like. And I feel like ultimately at the end of the day, we do the George Floyd family and folks in the movement a disservice when we use language like anniversary. And so today, I want to give a shout out, to all of the people out there who are continuing to fight for justice, for what happened to George Floyd and the Floyds of the world. I know there are people out there who are saying things, well, his kid's murderer got convicted. What else do you want? We know that we want more. We know that it's not about individuals. We know that it's not about one person going to prison. We're talking about changing a system. And so I applaud Attorney Crump and everybody out there who are daily fighting for justice. I commend the Floyd family for being in Washington, D.C. right now, meeting with the president and vice president, making sure that his name is not forgotten and the like. But again, you all, don't get caught up in these media narratives of this is the anniversary of George. It's not. If anything, it's a reminder that we have more work to do. We can commemorate it. We can remember it. We can talk about it. We can have our activist movements around it and marches and rallies. But I am always someone who says that words matter and how we look at things matter. And I believe that what happened with George Floyd can get diluted if we kind of look at it in the way that some people in these media outlets and in these other outlets are doing. This is not an anniversary. This was the day that a man was slaughtered. This was a day that a man was lynched. This was a day that a man was taken from his children and family forever. He's never coming back. And it needs to be commemorated so we can stay focused, motivated, and energized to continue to make a difference, to get this George Floyd police reform bill passed, to get rid of things like qualified immunity, to make sure that we have the registries and the proper laws relating to body cameras and all of that. So as we pause to remember his life and the lives of Breonna Taylor and so many others, let's remember that we're here to fight for them. Let's remember that we're here to fight so that this never happens again to anybody in anybody's family. I'm pretty sure the George Floyd family wishes we never heard of them, because that would mean that their child, their brother, their cousin, their nephew, their son is still alive. And that's what we want. We want Black lives to matter while they are living. We want to make sure every day that we're getting the justice that we deserve. We want to make sure that every single day we don't have to keep fighting and give our entire lives just to get half the results that other groups may get. And so I say rest in peace and power to George Floyd. You should be here today, throwing your daughter up in the air. We will not forget you. And let's make sure that after today is done, after the news coverage is done, after all the coverage of the rallies, the Black Lives Matter Plaza, and all of these things are covered on the news, let's make sure that tomorrow we do not stop. We continue the fight, because we are not just fighting for ourselves, we're fighting for our children and our children's children. And let's let the world know that we're going to make sure that we matter in every way, shape, and form. Rest in peace and power to you, George Floyd. And don't let anybody get caught up in this nonsense also talking about you sacrificed your life. No, your life was taken. And we have to make sure that that doesn't get caught up in the mix as well. Peace.